Hello and welcome to Ep.6 of Popcorn King. That's what this show is called, and this is going to be a great episode. So I've seen a couple of movies, some really great ones, some good TV I'm going to be talking about, and I'm also going to be doing some analysis of the Oscar nominations. They came out late last week, and I'm excited to talk about it. So let's just kick it straight off with The Brutalist. So, The Brutalist is a new Adrian Brody movie, starring Felicity Jones, Guy Pearce, directed by Brady Corbett. What is this film about? I'm just going to read the IMDb synopsis. When a visionary architect and his wife flee post-war Europe in 1947 to rebuild their legacy and witness the birth of modern United States, their lives are changed forever by a mysterious, wealthy client. That's the one played by Guy Pearce. So, what did I think about this movie? I thought it was really, really good. I thought the acting was out of this world. Felicity Jones, she comes in about halfway through the film. Literally, like, there's an interval, and then boom, she comes in, and she's just a force of nature. Like, her character is so interesting to watch, and when she comes in, it's just another flavor to the movie. It's really good. Guy Pearce is almost doing like a Daniel Day-Lewis in There Will Be Blood type of character. Just this a guy who sort of, I guess he's worked his way up, has an empire, and he's very much like, I'll drink your milkshake type of guy, with the moustache and everything, and just this kind of a very specific type of man from that time. And he plays it so good. I guess he is the antagonist. And then we have to talk about Adrian Brody. I just think his performance in every aspect of this film is so good. It's so towering. The accent, although we'll talk about that a bit later, the accent, the spectrum of emotions that he has to present in this film is crazy. He's just so complicated, so good. I mean, he's got to be on drugs. He's got to be this immigrant. He's got to be this artist as well, with strong points of views. But he's also got to, be grateful for all the opportunities of America and all these things. And yeah, I just think his performance is really complicated, and he hits the nail on the head. He really does. I just think. I think the tears of joy, the tears of excitement, the tears of sadness in him, like he's just like he can be a broken man, but also a man very much in control. And like I say, Felicity Jones, her accent is on point as well. Guy Pearce, he's so good. What a fantastic ensemble of actors, I would say. I'm going to quickly talk about the opening scene. I don't think you would consider this a spoiler. I'm just going to sort of tell you how amazing this opening scene is, because I haven't seen an opening scene this good in a while. It's basically, from my point of view, it's showing you both this sort of the grand hope of the American dream, but also at the same time putting it on its head and being like, this liberty, this so-called freedom that you're going to get here, it isn't like what we're advertising. It isn't what we're presenting for immigrants coming to America looking for freedom and liberty. You are going to have a fucking hard time. And this opening scene is so striking, so good. It basically starts with Adrian Brody's character deep down in a ship, sort of, I don't know, like levels down, it's really dark, no windows, and you can't really see much. You can just see it's Adrian Brody, and he's like, are we there? And he's like, where's my stuff? And he's like, I've got to go, I've got to get out. And he's trying to like the camera's trying to follow him, but it's so dark you can't properly see. It's kind of shaky cam as well, and the camera's following him as he sort of is walking through like the bowels of the ship, and it's totally chaotically busy, and he's like squeezing through people, and this music is starting to rumble. This wonderful score. You can feel it starting to rumble as he makes his way up some stairs, and he's like frantically looking around, and you still can't quite see properly, and you're like trying to squint through, and you can see him like trying to squint through little like cracks in like the windows and stuff to have a look at. And he finally, like, this is quite a long scene as well, him just scrambling through. He finally gets up onto the deck, and like light shines, and he sees his, I guess, another fellow passenger or a mate or something that he's made on the way. And you know that he's come from war, that he's come from persecution, that he's escaped with his life, and this has been a long, arduous journey, a journey that could probably be a movie in and of itself. But he's made it, and he's out on the deck. We still can't really see much because, well, firstly, this film was made on a very low budget, so we can just see him, and we can kind of see like he's outside. You just can't see anything, and he's looking up, and he's like hugs his mate in like pure joy. We've made it. And he sort of looks up, and the camera kind of goes up, and then it's an upside down like angular picture of the Statue of Liberty, but it's not that jarring because he looks up and the camera kind of follows, and you kind of like, it's a little bit makes sense from the angle. But yeah, like the Statue of Liberty sort of coming down from the side upside down, and the music is this dum dum bum boom, and it's so grand, so cinematic. It's so striking, seeing this sort of wobbly, shaky cam image of the Statue of Liberty upside down, Liberty on its head, and it's just like you're in for a towering movie. You're in for a long, epic movie. That's how you feel when you watch this. It's so cinematic. It kind of takes your breath away. You're just like, Jesus, this is so cinematic. And then like this music, this rumbling music, it follows him. He gets off the ship. He kind of struggles to he's struggling to have sex with a prostitute. I guess he can't do it. He's probably malnourished. And then he gets on a bus because he's going to go find a family member who lives in America. And the camera just follows the bus for ages. And it's that music, bam, 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 bam. It's like this journey. This man's life is about to be a journey. He's about to go on a big journey here in this brand new land, this huge, like the United States of America, this huge land. And yeah, you just get a sense that this is a grand movie. It's very grand, very big, and you can't help but be like, how did the director do this? He had no money. Somehow I'm transported to that time period, and I've barely seen anything. It's not like there's huge like shots of like 1940s United States. It's not like we're going through the streets and seeing, you're seeing very close up shots. You're just seeing the Statue of Liberty that could have been shot, today, and you see him on a bus. And it's not like he's traveling through the old streets of 1940s America. No, it's just traveling through like a field, basically. Like, no money was spent, and it feels so grand. It feels more epic than any of the new Star Wars films. It almost feels like a Lord of the Rings film that is just... Sorry, I'm coughing, because I thought this opening was so good. I mean, that's what I've got to say about the opening, okay? It's just majestically good. It's so good. The rest of the film, it does follow suit. There are so many big ideas. There's probably too many ideas, I would say. There is a whole side section storyline about being addicted to drugs and opioids, and I'm just like, I'm not entirely sure we necessarily needed that. There's quite an out of the blue, although it does build up to it. There's quite a big a horrible rape scene that happens in this film, and you're like, I'm not sure the film has it, considering it's like a 3.5 hour long film. I'm not sure it's put enough time in to do an interesting discussion on the sort of power dynamic rape kind of discussion, to do a discussion on that, a rape that might not even be sexually motivated, more power dynamic motivated. Again, I'm just like, I'm not sure we even dug into that enough. We probably had enough time to, but to be fair, when this film is interesting, when it's at its most interesting, is when it's to do with architecture, which I'm not interested in at all. But when it's to do with this immigrant showing these ideas, these brutalist ideas, these strong, big, open spaces. He's talking about what's good about a cube. It's just the structure of a cube. That's what's good about a cube. Nothing else. You don't need anything fancy. It's the cube. It's amazing in and of itself. And he kind of wants to create spaces and buildings like this. And you've got the rich Guy Pearce, like, kind of loving it, but at the same time, like, people not truly understanding this in America at this point. And yeah, that's where it's really, really interesting to me. I have to say, like, the drugs and the rape and stuff, I'm just like, this is almost Oscar fodder, this part. And I get it, like, again, I do understand the progression to those scenes. But, you know, I'm just like, the film was interesting without the extra bits, in my opinion. And then I do have to touch on one little thing at the end, which is a shame because I've heard a bit about this, and I'm in two minds about this. The performance, as I said, is incredible, especially by Adrian Brody. But there's been some reports that they used AI to make his accent sound kind of authentic and perfect, and the language. And it's just, I get it. AI is a tool that is at people's disposals now. And I understand that you can save money with limited budgets. We can save money with AI. But it does a little bit take away from the performance, in my opinion. I have to say, a tiny percentage. I still think he's probably the best performance of the year. But that is a little bit annoying. Like, was his accent not... Was it awful? Could we not have just heard exactly what he wanted to show us, the actor? Did you have to, digitally edit the sound of his voice? I kind of want to hear the thing that he presented to us, honestly. And I think it's a little bit of a slippery slope. Like, yeah, just say the lines however you want. AI will sort it out later. I want an actor to do his most authentic work and show us what he's got, show us what he's presented, like, show us what he's prepared. I want to see his full performance. And I know it's probably like a negligible amount that it was altered, but for me I'm in two minds about it. But I just think, was that necessary, really? Like, I get it, if you use AI to just fill out some buildings in the background, fine. That's necessary because it might look like modern, New York in the background. But was his voice really that bad? And if it's the case that he just could not do the voice, then he wasn't the right actor, in my opinion. But yeah, I just, that's what I've got to say about it. I don't think in this instance it's too crazy. I have a feeling he's done the accent really well. They've just touched it up a little bit, but I just think it's a slippery slope. And yeah, be careful when you're using AI. Anyway, that's what I want to know. What you think about The Brutalist? Tell me, did you think that the rape and the drugs were necessary? I just thought the architecture, the music, the opening scene, I thought it was fucking phenomenal. Right, so on to the next film that I saw in the past week, September 5. September 5 is the new... Who's in this film? Peter Sarsgaard movie. Starring Peter Sarsgaard and Ben Chaplin, John Magaro. I'm not sure I know many of these actors. Anyway, this is the film that is during 1972 Summer Olympics in Munich, Germany. An American sports broadcasting team must adapt to live coverage the Israeli athletes being held hostage by a terrorist group. Um, yeah, I thought this film was really good. I enjoyed it a lot. I thought, there was some Oscar buzz about this film, and I was like interested to see it. Now I've seen it, I'm like, cool. I'm not sure I'm not sure I would have nominated it for any Oscars here, but I just thought it was a really good film. I just thought, yeah, this is a great film. I like films that can keep me engaged when it's really just people in a room talking, and that's all this film was. There's some great ethical questions brought up in this film about journalism. There's moments where they're like, are we allowed to film someone getting shot live on air? Like, are we allowed to? And it's like, well, we're just filming what happens, and whatever happens, but it's our duty to let the world know that this is happening, and that's all we're doing. We're filming the story, and we're following the story wherever it goes. We're not wanting to show live killing. Like, they have these discussions. I think it's really interesting. And then as they're filming, and we're seeing like the German police like along the roof trying to find a way to get in and save the hostages, and they're filming it, they're like, hold on, can the terrorists see this, and are we alerting the terrorists to the plans of the police, and is this all going to fall through because of us, because we're filming it? And it's like, these are really valid questions, but at the same time, like, people need to be able to see news unfiltered. Like, we need to see what's happening. It's important to show the world. And are we doing the terrorist job for them? They specifically picked one of the biggest sporting events in the world to do this because they wanted eyes on them. So is filming them just helping the terrorists? Are we, like, who's really showing the story? Is it the film team, or are the terrorists dictating this story? And it's like, these are great, ethical, interesting questions, and we just get to watch fun, interesting discussions about it. It feels fast-paced, it moves quickly, even though it's like I say, it's just people in rooms talking. I love that. Like, if a film can almost feel like an action film, but it's just people in rooms talking, I think, well, that's edited amazingly. Like, the pacing is great. The acting is really, really fun, really, really interesting. And there's big things that happen. A huge shootout at an airport, but we don't see it. We just kind of hear about it. We've got the murders of the initial sort of Israeli team, the hostages. We don't see it. We just hear it in the background happening, almost like it's inconsequential. And I think that's a really interesting choice, and that's kind of really good. Like, I'm actually pleased we don't get to see these big moments. We're just seeing from the broadcaster's perspective, like, what's happening. Like, they're just like us. They're like, what was that? Was that gunshots? And it's just, I think, a really good film. Really, really fun. I mean, I wasn't like blown away by the end, being like, wow. And it does feel like, is this the right story to tell right now, with everything going on in Palestine and Israel? And it's just like, I'm not sure, but at the end of the day, taking politics out of it, you're just like, this was a good film. Who knows how point by point accurate it is, but I just thought, really, really fast paced, great film, talking about ethical questions that I love hearing about. Ethical questions, not showing the big action sort of murder scenes, but they're there in the background, and they've got a presence. The acting is really quick, really good, and I just think, all in all, great film. Really good, great film. I recommend it. Tell me what you thought about it. Did you want to see Israeli people getting shot, or are you happy they didn't show it? That's something I would love to hear your opinion on. Right. And next, I'm going to talk about a TV series. So last year, my number one series of the year was Traitors Season 2 UK. I've just watched Traitors Season 3 UK, and it's still just utterly incredible. I'm on the edge of my seat more than even the last episode of the first season of Severance. I'm on the edge of my seat more than the last 2 episodes of the first season of Prison Break. These people, these humans, right, are showing real drama that writers can't write. Actors cannot act something so complicated. There's a part in this season where a sister has to vote out another sister, but she doesn't want that sister to be... Just so you do, I don't know if you know what The Traitors is. So The Traitors is a TV show where you've got like 22 people in a castle, basically, and secretly a couple of them are chosen to be traitors and the rest are faithfuls, right? So every day, everyone sits around the table, no one knows who's a traitor or who's a faithful, and they've got to banish somebody. And they've got to hopefully banish a traitor. That's their objective when they're sitting around this table. Find a traitor and banish them. So they've all got to sit around this table and argue. And basically be like, I think this guy's a traitor. I think this guy's a traitor. And they've got to argue their point. And then at night, the traitors get to murder a faithful. It's that classic game. It's like Werewolf or Mafia, Hitman, whatever. It's just a version of that, and it's done over a period of like, I guess, like, I don't know, a month. And so the tension is so high in some of these scenes. The stakes get higher and higher and higher as the money pot grows, because whoever wins will get the money at the end. And just the drama, like, you can't write it. And I understand someone is kind of writing like what activities are going to happen, but in the end, it's these human people against each other trying to find a traitor. And you don't see acting like this. Like, you can't watch people act this because it's real people. This is what good reality shows should be, watching real human drama. And I just think this is incredible. They had a twist at the end called the Seer. This twist where somebody will get a chance to pick whoever they want playing a game and find out whether or not they are faithful or a traitor. And this can turn the game on its head. And I thought, good idea, fun idea. However, it was a shame that a traitor was picked. So the traitor just had to say they were a traitor. And it's like, well, that's the only traitor left. So that traitor just obviously ended up getting banished at the round table. And then you've only got faithfuls left for the end of the show, which is way less interesting, in my opinion, which is just a shame. I know it's just bad luck, but what can you do? Maybe they shouldn't do the Seer thing next time. There is something I've noticed, and this is interesting because it's another layer. So you've got these 22 people, and they're all playing each other. They're trying to lie to each other and find out the truth. You've got the faithfuls against the traitors, and the faithfuls are, trying to get the traitors out, and traitors trying to get all the faithfuls out. And no one knows who's who. So they're all playing each other, right? They're all just playing this game against each other, trying to figure out who's lying. But in this season specifically, they're not just playing each other. They are also, and you could hear it, and I would be doing the same, these contestants in this game show are also playing the producers, if that makes sense. You can hear them say, like, I feel like there must be a really strong female traitor. Well, why do you say that? Because last year it was all men, right? So if you're playing the producers, you would think, well, the producers might want it so that all females are picked. So they're kind of playing the game. They're playing against the actual producers of the show. They're saying things like, "Oh, I think he's a traitor because he's a doctor. Wouldn't that be like great TV if a doctor was going around killing everyone rather than saving everyone?" And it's like, well, okay, you're not playing each other anymore. You're playing the producers. And so the producers have to bear that in mind. Like, moving forward, the producers have to know that, oh, we've got to play against against this. It's like kind of meta, right? The producers have to be like, we've got to actually play against this group of people because they're playing against us now. So that's really interesting. There are things like I've thought, like, because it is a TV show, right? Because we want to be as on the edge of our seat as possible. At night time, when the traitors murder someone, in the morning, we still don't know who the traitors have murdered, and the producers want to keep the audience on edge. So in the morning, everybody comes in drips and drabs to have breakfast. And the person A comes in, person B comes in, blah blah blah. And then we've got 3 more people left. And every single time, the 3 more people that are left to come into breakfast are the 3 people that the traitors were discussing about murdering. Should we murder this person? Should we murder person number 2 or person number 3? I don't know. These 3 people we could murder. They always pick 3, and those 3 are always the last to come in, because the audience at home are like, who did they pick to murder? Who did they pick? But because of that, that the last 3 people that come in, well, the last 2, because one of the 3 would have been murdered. The last 2 people that come into breakfast, if you're a contestant, that because this is a TV show that producers are making for audience at home to be like entertained by, that the last 2 people to come in are 100% definitely a faithful. So you've played the producers, you can work it out over the course of a few days, the people who are definitely a faithful, and then by process of elimination, find out who the traitors are, You know what I mean? Like, come on, like, I figured it out. If I was a faithful, I'd win. I figured it out. I've found out who the traitors are. But I'm not playing the game against the other contestants. I'm playing it against the producers. So yeah, I just find that interesting, and that's just something that the producers gotta bear in mind. I did have one idea that I heard, and I just think this could be a fun idea, another mix-up. What if we potentially next season have 2 sets of traitors, right? Maybe 2 traitors, a pair of traitors each, but these pair don't know that the other pair are traitors. Like, that would be a mix-up, because you're like trying to vote people out, and when the person gets banished and says, I'm a traitor, and the other pair were like, what? That person's a traitor? They don't come to murder every night. It's like, interesting, right? Interesting. So yeah, that could be a fun idea. I heard that one and I thought that could be really good. But yeah, just overall, wonderful show. So fun to watch and analyze and think what you would do. Think about the lies you'd have to tell. Think about whether just being honest is the best policy if you're faithful, and just how you would fight your corner when everything you do starts to make you look guilty. When people start to suspect you, you can just yawn, and people will think, see, I suspected him before, and he's just yawning suddenly. He must be a traitor. Like, everything you do makes you look guilty. And yeah, I just think, Jesus, it looks so stressful. It's so fun to watch, so fun to analyze, and I can't wait for the next season, probably next year. And obviously, Claudia Winkleman has just got a fringe. She's just got a fringe, and that's all you can say. Yeah, orange skin and a fringe. She's awesome. But let me know what you thought. Right, so on to the last portion of this episode, where I am going to talk about Oscar nominations analysis. That's what I'm going to do. So last week they released all the Oscar nominations. I've got them right here on my phone. I'm going to look at my phone. If you don't want me to look at my phone, let me know, and I'll obviously try and fix that. Right, so I've got this down. So the Oscar nominations came out. I'm just going to talk about them a little bit here. So, Best Picture. We got, in alphabetical order, Anora. I'm just going to talk about them one by one. So, Best Picture, we got Anora. Anora is my favourite film of the year. And it does have a chance to win, but I feel like it was way stronger about 5 months ago, 4 months ago. I thought this was like almost, I was like, I'd put all my money on this winning. But I don't know, like the discussion around it, it's not like it's been bad or people are disliking it. I guess it's just less, I'm hearing less about it, is all. Which is fine. Like, I think the second part of their campaign can begin and they can build up, because it is just incredible film, really wonderfully made. But yeah, that got nominated. I was expecting it. It was on my list, but yeah, really, really amazing film, and it does have a route to win, but less than I thought 4 months ago, if I'm honest with you. This Oscar race is way up in the air. We have the Brutalist. So the Brutalist with Adrian Brody, wonderful, towering film. I could totally see it winning. It's so long. And I'm already seeing reports of people struggling to sit through the full film. And if you're going to stop at the interval and be like, okay, I get it, you're going to miss, firstly, Felicity Jones's performance, because she's only in at the second half. But yeah, I just think there's so many things that you miss, and it's hard to get through that. Maybe that will be at its detriment, if I'm honest with you. But I think it's wonderful. It totally deserves to win as well. I think it's a great film, and it's been winning a lot already in all the precursors. But yeah, what can I say? Like, it's risky. I think even that's risky. I was more sure about it about a month ago than I am now. A Complete Unknown just completely overperformed, in my opinion, and because you had the best direct, like the director James Mangold, he got nominated for best director as well, which no one was expecting, if I'm honest with you. And you've obviously got Timothée Chalamet's performance in there, which is outstanding. You've got Ed Norton's performance in there, although I'm not sure, is he oh yeah, he's been nominated as well. But yeah, Complete Unknown, the Bob Dylan film with Timothée Chalamet. Again, I'm just like, okay, that could win. That could be a surprise win. It's a sort of film that Oscar voters love, but it's not like the best film of the year, if you know what I mean. I mean, obviously that's a subjective opinion to me, but it's like there are many other better films. Conclave, I think that underperformed in this nominations list. Yes, it's been nominated for Best Picture, but it didn't get Best Director. I don't even think it got... Did it get Writer? I'm not even sure if it got Writer, but yeah, Conclave, I'm like a little bit like, okay, I thought that was going to do much better than it did. Yeah, you've got Ralph Fiennes in there and he's wonderful, but I do think there's a little bit of backlash on this film in terms of, I mean, it would be it could win. It could actually win. So far, Anora, The Brutalist, Complete Unknown, and Conclave, they could all win. But I have no idea which one is going to sort of come out on top here between these, because Conclave, like I say, didn't get Best Director, which I was so surprised about. Then you've got, which is an incredible film, and this film could totally win, Dune Part 2. This film should totally be in the sort of running to win, but it's just not gonna win. Like, it barely got nominated for anything else, and it's like, that's such a head scratch, because that film is fucking spectacularly well made and such a jump up from the first film. But yeah, I just think that would solve a lot of problems, because the other ones all have something sort of against it to win. like I say, like Anora seems to be like on a slightly down trajectory. Brutalist, people aren't finishing it. A Complete Unknown is like quite random how it got so many nominations. Like people weren't expecting that at all. Conclave, again, it's slightly on a down trajectory. Doom Part 2 would solve all those problems, but it's just not in the discussion to win at all, unfortunately, even though I believe it should be. And then you've got Emilia Perez. It got nominated so much, like one of the most nominated films of the year, yet it seems like everybody who sees this film hates it. Like the audience score is in hell, basically. And surely that negativity around this film is going to catch up to it. So that was like the front runner as well to win. Like that and The Brutalist, I say, were like neck and neck. But yeah, like I say, people aren't finishing The Brutalist, and now everyone seems to hate Emilia Perez. Despite all the nominations that it got, it's obvious that the Academy loved it, but they're all humans, and they're like the rest of the Academy are going to watch it, and they're going to be like, I'm not sure about this film. So Emilia Perez, I think that maybe won't win. You've got the biggest surprise in like Oscar history with I'm Still Here. Nobody expected that film to be nominated. It came out of absolutely nowhere. It's a foreign language film like Emilia Perez. This is like the first time ever that the Oscars have had 2 foreign language films nominated for Best Picture. Will this win? Probably not, but it could win. It could. It literally could. It could just like Emilia Perez hate could go on to I'm Still Here. The army, the Brazilian army behind this seem to just love it. The Portuguese army. They just absolutely love this. So there's a chance. There really is a chance. Nickel Boys. I haven't seen Nickel Boys yet. It hasn't been out here, but I'm looking forward to watching that. But yeah. Nickel Boys, I heard, is this film that's all done from the first person perspective, like all from their eyesight, basically. And yeah, I think this film is very much loved, but it's not in any discussions to actually win. I really do not think it's going to win. I think it was making basically no money whatsoever, so I think the nomination itself is a win for it. Like I think that's really great for Nickel Boys, and that's going to boost it and it's going to make money, and that kind of stuff is the lifeblood of these interesting, exciting indie films. They need these sort of nominations to keep them going. And hopefully more cinemas will show it now because it's got Oscar nominated on its poster. The Substance, right? The Substance was my second favorite film of the year, and that totally should be in the talks to win. You've got Demi Moore there as a Best Actress nomination. You've got the director for The Substance, Coralie Farget. And I just think, yeah, like that has all the ingredients to win, but it's this body horror, disgusting, out there, gross out movie that the Oscars never vote for. So should it win? Like, I would love it if it won. But at the same time, it's like, I'm not sure that is going to get there because the Oscars don't like that type of film. Maybe just the nomination is a win in of itself. Again, but, you know, when all the others are on sort of this downwards trajectory, I will say The Substance seems to be slightly on an upwards trajectory. And I'm Still Here slightly on an upwards trajectory, even though they're still below the others. They're going the right way, because I do think Brutalist is slightly coming down, Anora slightly coming down over the past 4 months, Conclave slightly coming down, Emilia Perez slightly coming down. I think Complete Unknown is on an upwards trajectory. I'm Still Here, definitely, because that was in hell. I'm Still Here was in literal hell like 3 months ago, 1 month ago, and now it's slowly climbing up. The Substance has been slowly climbing throughout the year, and it's just... yes, it's getting nominated for this, and yes, nominated for that, and yes, the Golden Globes, and yes, BAFTA. Like, it's getting nominated everywhere, and everyone's loving, yes, Demi Moore won the Golden Globe and give that great speech. But, wait, did she? Yeah, I think she won. But yeah, you're just like, that's going on an upwards trajectory, if I'm honest with you. So, who knows? I have no idea where this is going to go. And then finally, we got Wicked. One of my other favourite films of the year, a musical. I love a musical. You've got Ariana Grande's been nominated, Cynthia Erivo's been nominated, and it's kind of, I reckon it's sort of like it stayed strong where it is somewhere in the middle. Like, I do think it's safely in the middle. So who knows what's going to happen when you've got. So this is the middle, right? So you've got Brutalist slowly coming down because people aren't watching it. Anora has for some reason been coming down, probably because it's about sex and Hollywood's a little bit weird about sex. You've got Conclave slowly coming down. I'm not quite sure why, but for some reason they're just not nominated. They didn't nominate it for director and stuff, so it's just slowly coming down. We've got Dune 2, which is just plummeting for some reason. Amelia Perez slowly coming down. So you've got this one in the middle, right? So this, Wicked could be at the top at the end of all that. But you've also got Substance climbing up. You've got I'm Still Here climbing up. You've got A Complete Unknown climbing up, right? So they're all kind of mashing somewhere in the middle. So I reckon Wicked will get sort of crowded out in the middle there. I'm not sure who's going to come out on top. Maybe A Complete Unknown. I might have to put my money on A Complete Unknown coming out on top here, because this is just an insane awards race, if I'm honest with you. It could end up being Anora still, could end up being Brutalist. It literally could be Amelia Perez still. But I'm going to put my money right now, today, on this day, I shall say, A Complete Unknown. But I don't know. I really don't know. I'm going to talk about directors and actors in the later videos, but that's just the best films. That's my analysis of the best films. All these films seem to have something that's slowly dragging them down. These other films, like A Complete Unknown, which aren't as good in my opinion, are coming up a little bit. And so, yeah, I just have to go with A Complete Unknown. That's what I'm going for. Putting my money on A Complete Unknown. But let me know what you think in the comments below. The Best Picture race is so interesting. Lord knows what's going to happen with Best Director, Best Actor, Best Actress. The only one that I can think that's sort of still a lock is maybe Best Supporting Actor. But yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't know. This is one of the most exciting Oscar races I've seen in a long, long time. Let me know what you thought in the comments below, because I need help. I need serious help.